One Christmas, we were both given presents. Angel unwrapped a shiny new tablet, while I received a pair of worn-out headphones and a few old books. I could tell from the look on Angel's face that she was thrilled, and as she hugged her new tablet, I tried to force a smile, even though my gift felt like a slap in the face.
Oh, Angel, you seem to like your gift. Come here and show us how it works, darling.
As they gathered around her to admire her gift, I stood off to the side, feeling like a spectator in my own home. It wasn't just material things either. When Angel had school events, my parents would be there, front and center, cheering her on. I remember one of my own school plays where I had a small role. I was so excited to finally get a chance to perform, but on the day of the play, my parents were nowhere to be found. Hi, my name's Debbie. I'm the eldest of my parents' 2 kids, and I have a younger sister, Angel, who's 3 years younger than me. Angel was beautiful and very smart in school. From early on, it was pretty obvious that Angel was the favorite. It felt like a rule of nature. She always got the fancier clothes, the flashier toys, and the bigger snacks. Whenever my parents made plans, Angel was always their first choice, leaving me on the sidelines. I remember a particularly painful instance when we were 16 and 13. My birthday had just passed a few days before Angel's, and it felt like the whole world was celebrating hers while mine was barely acknowledged. All I got was a terse, happy birthday from my parents, and it seemed like they had already moved on. They started making plans for Angel's birthday celebration, and I was there, sitting quietly in the living room, listening to their excited chatter.
I'm thinking of a small party for Angel with her friends to start the day. And then we can all head to the beach afterward. It'll be a perfect day. You'd love that, right, baby?
I tried to keep my feelings in check, but it was hard. My stomach twisted into knots as I heard them discuss the details of the beach trip. They never once mentioned that I would be going with them. And the more I listened, the more I felt like my heart was being squeezed. On the day of Angel's birthday, the house was buzzing with activity. Her friends arrived, and there was laughter and music as they celebrated. I watched from the sidelines, feeling increasingly invisible. When the party was over and her friends had left, my parents told me they were heading to the beach to continue the celebration.
Debbie, we're going to the beach now. Angel's really looking forward to it. Look at her. She's so excited. I feel so lucky to be her dad.
I tried to muster up the courage to speak. Can I come too? I'd really love to go. I'd been dying to have a family picture with them at the beach, but they never let me go with them, and it was making me sad. If they didn't know how badly I wanted to be there, it would have been different. But they knew. I'd always been vocal about it, so they knew. I was hoping they would finally agree, but my heart got shattered by my mom's words.
Sorry, Debbie. We already planned this for Angel's special day. Maybe next time.
As they walked out, Angel's excited chatter filled the air, and I felt a wave of loneliness wash over me. They left without a second glance, and I was left alone in the quiet house, feeling like a ghost in my own home. My heart ached as I imagined them enjoying the beach while I sat in silence, knowing this wasn't the first time I'd been left out. The sting of their favoritism was something I had grown used to, but that day, it felt especially sharp. It wasn't only the big things like the expensive clothes and lavish birthday parties. It was also the small, everyday things that cut the deepest. For instance, during school, Angel always had the newest gadgets and the latest fashion, while I was handed down some of my mom's old clothes and secondhand books she got from my cousins. When Angel flaunted her latest smartphone or a designer bag, I was still using my outdated stuff, and no one seemed to notice or care. One Christmas, we were both given presents. Angel unwrapped a shiny new tablet, while I received a pair of worn-out headphones and a few old books. I could tell from the look on Angel's face that she was thrilled, and as she hugged her new tablet, I tried to force a smile, even though my gift felt like a slap in the face.
Oh, Angel, you seem to like your gift. Come here and show us how it works, darling.
As they gathered around her to admire her gift, I stood off to the side, feeling like a spectator in my own home. It wasn't just material things either. When Angel had school events, my parents would be there, front and center, cheering her on. I remember one of my own school plays where I had a small role. I was so excited to finally get a chance to perform, but on the day of the play, my parents were nowhere to be found. When I got home, I was in tears. I was so angry about them missing it. Even as I was crying, they seemed so nonchalant. They didn't apologize until I began to yell at them.
Why are you getting so worked up over this little issue? You know how busy we are, Debbie. Quit being a child and under us.
I was taken aback by how he suddenly began yelling at me. My mom quickly stepped in and held him to calm him.
We'll make it up to you, Debbie.
But that making it up never came. In fact, after that day, they pretended to have forgotten about the whole issue. When it came to chores or responsibilities at home, Angel would often be spared from doing the less pleasant tasks. I'd be the one scrubbing the floors and washing dishes while Angel lounged on the couch, watching TV or playing games. If I complained, my dad would say, "You're the older sister. It's your job to set an example." The way they treated us on vacations was another clear sign. Whenever we went on family trips, Angel always got the best room or the best seat in the car. I was often stuck with the least comfortable arrangements just as long as Angel was happy. And then there were the times when my parents would make plans and deliberately leave me out. They'd discuss their weekend plans, and if I showed interest, they'd dismiss it with a quick, "Oh, it's just a family thing for Angel's benefit." I was always the odd one out, left behind while they enjoyed time together as a family. All of these little things added up, creating a constant reminder that no matter what I did or how well I behaved, I would never be able to measure up to the gold standard that was Angel. Favoritism was a part of my everyday life, and no matter how much I tried to blend into the background, the disparities never ceased to sting. Well, it continued that way as we grew up to become young ladies. I moved out of my parents' house right after my 25th birthday. 2 reasons. 1, I didn't want to face any more favoritism display. 2nd was I needed my privacy. I was dating Max, the son of the wealthiest businessman in the city. I'd met him after a meeting once, and we'd connected instantly. We were only friends for a few months before we began dating. Max was the best thing I'd ever had. He never made me feel unloved and spoiled me in every way possible. In fact, the house I'd moved into, he bought it for me as my birthday gift. According to him, he'd been wanting to do it, but never found the right opportunity until my birthday. I ensured it wasn't one-sided. In every way I could, I also made sure to be there for him. We both loved and appreciated each other. On the night of Max's 30th birthday, which was 4 months after my 27th birthday, he proposed to me. That was 2.5 years after we began dating. I was so happy and wasted no time in agreeing to marry him. 2 days after our engagement, he took me to his parents. To my surprise, they were both humble people, despite how wealthy they were. Contrary to stories I'd heard about how rich people were to people like me who weren't born rich, Max's parents were different. His dad kept showing praises to me for how beautiful and intelligent I was. As for his mom, she refused to let me out of her sight. In the days that followed, she would bring me along with her for shopping, send me flowers randomly, boast about me to her friends, and never failed to give me words of encouragement every time I had to attend a meeting. Her husband was the same. He would randomly call to check in on me, send me food from any new restaurant he tried, since we both had a thing for trying new places. They were both doing everything I wished my parents did instead. I got promoted a month after my engagement, and my company was hosting a party to celebrate all promoted workers. I'd invited my parents to come watch me, but they refused because they had to go somewhere more important with Angel. It turned out that the 3 of them went over to spend time with my grandparents and didn't take me along. I was so sad, but Max was there to make me feel good. On the day of the party, his parents showed up for me. His mother had even given a speech for me, showering praises and nice words on me. I was moved to tears as I imagined my mom doing that instead. After the party, I hugged the woman and thanked her nonstop. Max wanted us to get married after 2 months of being engaged, so I finally decided to take him to my family. They'd accepted him warmly, and I was excited. Unfortunately, the news I got 2 days later wasn't something I ever imagined. Max had come to me and revealed that my parents had called him over the previous day, only to tell him to break up with me and be with my younger sister instead. According to him, they'd said I wasn't fitting for him and spewed vile words about me to him. They told him Angel was better than me in every way, and encouraged him to break up with me and go for her. I was devastated, but he managed to help me calm down. Max noticed and assured me that he'd never leave me for my sister in any world. I became calm after. That same evening, I got a video group call from my parents.
When are you going to break up with Max?
You don't deserve a man like Max. He is good for your sister instead.
I was furious and just dropped the call. The last straw that broke the camel's back was when Angel tried to get me fired from work because she believed that Max was still with me because I had a job. She had come to our office and told lies to my boss, telling her how I was a thief and vile things. It didn't end up as she planned because not only was she sent out of the company, she also got hit by a car on her way home, and the accident landed her in the emergency ward at the hospital. After surgery, the doctor announced to us that Angel would never be able to walk on her own ever again. We were all sad, but my parents were obviously sadder. They wailed nonstop and kicked me away when I tried to comfort them. I got married to Max a month later, but my parents and Angel weren't in attendance, and that was because I refused to invite them. I'd come to know that my parents were in on Angel's plan to make me lose my job. That was the last straw that made me accept that I wasn't wanted by them, and immediately cut them off. After my wedding with Max, we moved away to our mansion and started a new life together. Well, 5 years later, my dad tried reaching out to me. Apparently, Angel was a liability to them because of her broken spine. My mom had also gotten severely sick, and my dad couldn't afford her treatments while taking care of Angel. Did you think I helped? Of course not. None of them deserved my kindness. I reminded him that I'd cut them off as family and was happier with my husband, in-laws, and 2 kids. Deal with your problems yourself. Or better still, ask your lovely daughter to assist you. Oops, I forgot she's crippled and useless now. I could hear my mom's crying voice in the background, and I immediately knew the call was on speakerphone, which made me happy. After taunting him enough and warning him to never try reaching out to me or my family, I ended the call and blocked his line. A year later, I heard that my mother had died from her illness. I never attended her funeral, and my dad was devastated. He was now stuck with the responsibility of taking care of my sister, barely surviving on his pension. He had to get a part-time job as a janitor at a nearby school. It's what they deserved, and I regret nothing. In fact, I'm quite happy at karma for helping me. I'd have made them suffer more. Nevertheless, karma did a great job. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment. Clara had always been their pride and joy, and they never hesitated to show her how much they adored her. When I was 5 and Clara was 7, I remember one birthday in particular that made things clearer. Clara's birthday was a grand affair, filled with friends, presents, a huge cake, and even a pony ride in our backyard. I stood by the window, watching as she laughed and played with her friends, dressed in the beautiful pink dress my mother had bought for her. She was showered with so many gifts I could barely count them. The next day, when it was my birthday, I received a single doll. No party, no cake. My mother handed it to me casually.
Here, Susan, happy birthday.
And that was it. No balloons, no laughter. Just a doll, and I wasn't even sure they had wrapped it themselves. That was how it always was. From the beginning, it was clear that my parents only had room in their hearts for one daughter, and that was my older sister, Clara. Clara was smart and looked just like our mother. She was the center of their world, the one who could do no wrong. Me? I was just the other one, the invisible one. Clara had always been their pride and joy, and they never hesitated to show her how much they adored her. When I was 5 and Clara was 7, I remember one birthday in particular that made things clearer. Clara's birthday was a grand affair, filled with friends, presents, a huge cake, and even a pony ride in our backyard. I stood by the window, watching as she laughed and played with her friends, dressed in the beautiful pink dress my mother had bought for her. She was showered with so many gifts I could barely count them. The next day, when it was my birthday, I received a single doll. No party, no cake. My mother handed it to me casually.
Here, Susan, happy birthday.
And that was it. No balloons, no laughter. Just a doll, and I wasn't even sure they had wrapped it themselves. That was how it always was. Clara got everything. The best clothes, the most attention, and all the love they had to give. I, on the other hand, was left with scraps, with only the bare minimum to get by. It wasn't just about material things, though. It was deeper than that. Whenever Clara had a school play, both of my parents would be there, sitting in the front row, clapping louder than anyone else. But when it was my turn to be in a play, they'd either forget or make excuses. I remember one year, when I was 10, I had the lead role in a small school production. I told them about it for weeks, but when the day came, I looked out into the audience and saw only empty seats where they should have been. I cried and couldn't perform as the leader. The teacher had to take me out and call my parents, but they didn't even come to pick me up. When I got home, my parents didn't even care to know why I cried. They simply thought I was weak.
Maybe Clara could help you next time. She's always been better at these kinds of things.
Clara was the golden child, the one who received all their attention, all their hopes, all their dreams. It wasn't long before I stopped trying to impress them. I wasn't good enough. I would never be enough for them. As I got older, the favoritism only worsened. When Clara turned 16, they threw her a lavish Sweet 16 party, complete with a live band, a custom cake, and enough decorations to fill a ballroom. Everyone from school was invited, and my parents spared no expense. But when I turned 16, all I got was a simple dinner at home.
We're saving money for Clara's college. We can't afford to spend money on irrelevant things for now. You understand, don't you?
You're not as outgoing as Clara anyway. You wouldn't enjoy something like that.
They didn't even try to hide their preference for her anymore. They had given up on me. Then, when I turned 18, things took a turn I never could have predicted. My father's wealth was tied to several businesses, and he frequently entertained clients at our home. One of those clients was Mr. Donovan, a wealthy businessman who had been doing business with my father for years. I didn't like him. He was a tall man and looked very intimidating, but my parents were always polite to him. One evening, I was clearing the table after dinner when I overheard a conversation between Mr. Donovan and my parents.
She's a good girl, Donovan. Quiet, obedient. She'll make you happy.
We've never had any trouble with her. She's always been the easy one.
Are you sure she'll fit in with my plans? She's a bit younger than I was thinking. She's better off with you. Honestly, we never even planned to have her. We're fine with Clara. Susan is more like a liability to us.
They were selling me off to him, like some kind of property. They didn't love me. They never had. My parents didn't even look sad when they told me.
You're leaving with Mr. Donovan. He'll take care of you.
They didn't even hug me goodbye. I left with Mr. Donovan that day, feeling utterly abandoned. I was devastated. How could my own parents, the people who were supposed to love and protect me, sell me off like I was nothing? But something strange happened after I left with Mr. Donovan. He didn't treat me like I expected. Instead of the cold, heartless man I had feared he would be, he was kind to me. Genuinely kind. Over time, I realized that he hadn't bought me to hurt me or use me. He had taken me in because he had no children of his own, and he had seen how neglected I had been. He wanted to give me a better life, a chance to be happy. Mr. Donovan treated me like a daughter, not a possession. He paid for me to go to college, encouraged me to pursue my dreams, and even helped me start my own fashion house when I graduated. He was there for me in ways my real parents never had been, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged somewhere. As the years passed, our relationship grew stronger. I started calling him Dad, and he welcomed it with open arms. He even met a kind woman, who later became his wife. They had a child together, and suddenly, we were a real family. Life was good, I was successful, I had a family who loved me, and I had finally found happiness. Years later, I returned to my birth country as part of a charity project. I had become involved in helping at a local shelter home, and it was during one of these visits that I saw my parents. I almost didn't recognize them at first. They had aged so much, their faces now lined with wrinkles and worn down by hardship. They looked frail, broken, and lost. I hadn't seen them in years, and now, here they were, seeking refuge in the very shelter home I was helping. When they saw me, recognized me, and immediately dropped to their knees, weeping.
Susan, we're so sorry. We made a terrible mistake. Forgive us, please. We regret everything.
Clara ruined us. She got involved with gambling and lost everything. Our house, our cars, it's all gone. We're in debt, Susan. We have nothing left.
I was stunned. Clara, the golden child who could do no wrong, had brought them to ruin. It was almost poetic.
We don't deserve your forgiveness, but please, help us. We don't have anywhere else to go.
We're sorry for what we did to you. We thought Clara would always take care of us. But she's gone, Susan. She's gone, and we need you.
I couldn't believe my ears. For years, I had waited for that moment when they would finally realize how wrong they had been and how much they had hurt me. And now, here they were, broken, begging for my forgiveness. They had thrown me away like I was nothing, and now they wanted me to save them. They didn't deserve my forgiveness. They didn't deserve anything from me.
Susan, please. We were wrong. We know that now. We're paying for our mistakes. Please, help us.
I knew they weren't sorry for what they did to me. They were only sorry because they had lost everything. They were desperate, and I wasn't going to let them manipulate me. You chose Clara over me my entire life. You sold me off to a stranger because you didn't want me. You never cared about me. And now that you've lost everything, you come to me, hoping that I'll fix it for you? You want me to save you after everything you did to me? No, you don't get to do that.
Susan, please.
No, you deserve everything that's happening to you. You deserve to lose it all. And Clara? I hope she never finds peace. I hope she suffers the way I did, the way you made me suffer. While I was speaking, the shelter's manager came to ask what the matter was and if I was okay. Make sure these two people are never taken in. Blacklist their names from every shelter. They don't deserve anyone's help. The manager didn't ask any questions. He agreed to my decision and left. My parents cried louder and kept begging me, but I pushed them off and walked out of the shelter. But it wasn't over. I went to find where my parents were living and discovered it was an old, uncompleted building. It was barely livable, but it was still a shelter. And I wasn't about to let them have even that. I tracked down the owner of the building and made him an offer he couldn't refuse. It didn't take long for the papers to be signed, and just like that, the building was mine. I ordered the previous landlord to go to them and ask them to leave immediately.
What do you mean we have to leave? You can't do this to us.
We have nowhere else to go. Don't do this, please.
Please, just give us more time. Give us time to find somewhere else. Please.
I'm sorry, but the new owner doesn't want anyone living here. You have to go.
My mother was in tears as my father tried to argue, but it was no use. I stepped out of my hiding place and ordered them to get out of my building. They were visibly shocked. Before they could beg, I ordered security to throw their things outside. It was snowing. I almost laughed, but I kept a straight face after thinking about all they had done to me. They had nothing left, no home, no money, no family. They were alone, just like they had made me feel all those years ago. I didn't feel sorry for them, not even a little. Weeks passed, and I heard through someone that my parents were now living on the streets, reduced to begging for scraps. I could have helped them. I could have given them shelter, a second chance at life. But I didn't. They didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve my forgiveness, my kindness, or my pity. In the years that followed, I focused on my own life. I expanded my fashion business, traveled the world, and grew closer to the family that truly loved me. They had given me everything I had ever needed, and I owed them everything. They were my real parents, the ones who had cared for me when no one else did. As for my birth parents, I didn't hear much about them after that. I knew they continued to live as beggars, struggling to survive day by day. And Clara? She was never heard from again. Rumor had it that she was still held captive by one of her debtors. Forced to serve them as payment for her gambling debts, she was used as their slave. It seemed fitting in a way. She had always taken everything for granted, and now she was paying the price. I sometimes wondered if I had made the right choice, if I should have forgiven them and given them another chance. But then I remembered all the years of neglect, the pain they had caused me, and the fact that they had sold me off without a second thought. No, I had made the right choice. They had made their bed, and now they were lying in it. And I was finally free. Free from their shadows, free from their neglect, and free to live the life I had always deserved. The life they had never wanted me to have. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.